Twig, and I want to congratulate my honourable friend, the member for Norwich North, for securing such an important debate. My constituents have so much pride in our community. The marriage of town and country was the vision behind Welwyn City, and Hatfield is a new town that blends hundreds of years of history through Hatfield House, but also a spirit of innovation as the home of the world's first jet airliner. But antisocial behaviour is so damaging because it chips away at that sense of pride in our communities. Instead of embracing public spaces, it forces people indoors. You don't look outwards. You lock the doors to try and feel safe at home. And like other honourable members, I hear too many stories of how antisocial behaviour is taking its toll on my constituents. I've heard examples of rocks being thrown at family homes, of public urination on street corners, of a banned breed of dog locked up on their street, rarely walked and behaving menacingly. And perhaps most powerful of all, a primary school student who, on a visit that was fantastic, recounted to me how they'd seen an off-road bike illegally racing through one of our parks and nearly knocking over a pensioner. They told me that it made them feel worried to go to the King George V playing fields in Welwyn City, and they were just 10 years old. It's time for action, and this government gets it. Absolutely.
Forgiving way. Just on that point of off-road bikes, well, we have that problem. We also have the problem of e-scooters on pavements, and I receive regular complaints from my constituents about that, them being used improperly, often at great risk to sort of elderly people who perhaps can't move out of the way quickly enough if one's whizzing up behind them. So does my honourable friend agree that we need to take this sort of antisocial behaviour really seriously, and does he welcome, as I do, the measures in the crime and policing bill that will help police to seize these vehicles?
Andrew.lewin.
I absolutely do, and I would add that he's absolutely right, as my honourable friend, to talk about older people who are vulnerable for e-scooters, but I think of young families, mums and dads with prams and babies as well, and I've heard some horror stories about their experiences, so I completely endorse what he said. And I was just going on to the action this government is taking. I was delighted to see the crime and policing bill pass its second reading yesterday, and wanted to briefly highlight three measures, some of which have already been referenced, that can make a particular difference, I hope, to Welwyn Hatfield. First of all, giving the police the power to seize bikes or vehicles immediately, a really important change, that there would no longer be need for a warning. If bikes or e-scooters are being ridden irresponsibly, let's get them straight off the road. Secondly, respect orders, powers that will give the police and local councils the ability to ban persistent offenders from our town centres or from drinking in public spaces such as high streets and local parks. And crucially, that failure to comply with the respect order would be a criminal offence, and with police given the power to arrest people who are in breach of this straight away. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the commitment from our manifesto now in government to recruiting 13,000 more neighbourhood police and community support officers across the country, with a focus on targeting the most prolific offenders. Mr. Chair, Welwyn Hatfield is at its best when the streets are bustling, people come together and feel both security and pride in the place they call home. This Labour government understands how much this matters to people and why tackling antisocial behaviour locally and nationally is rightly a priority.